We have Deputy Ó Ríordáin, who wishes to raise the imminent construction of flood defences on the Clontarf promenade.
Thanks, Ken Corder, and thanks, Minister, for taking the time to discuss this issue. It is a local issue, but I think you'll agree it's one of citywide importance. You'll be aware of the proposal to construct an 8-foot flood barrier along the Clontarf promenade. What I want Minister to do is to outline where I feel the consultation process prior to the An Bord Pleanála giving permission was deficient. I want to outline to you some European legislation which I think your officials would like to investigate also. And thirdly, I'd like to request that you would engage with the Insurance Federation just to make sure whether these works go ahead or do not go ahead, what implications that would have for residents. So I just want to talk you through the steps as were taken by Dublin City Council in relation to the consultation process. So we go back to September 2005, and the Clontarf Promenade Steering Committee considered different options for the flood defence, arterial water main works, and decided on option 5, which is walls, bunds containing water mains. And no public representatives, residents groups or business groups are represented on the committee. However, the EIS states that main stakeholders were present. The minutes of the meeting indicate that council officials realised, even at that point, the need to provide clear images and drawings for the public consultation process. This never happened. We go on to the 12th of June 2006, a consultation evening held in St Anthony's Parish Hall in Clontarf on the scope of the information to be included in the EIS. Residents groups are invited. According to the Council's email of Tuesday the 11th of October, the public consultation process on the flood defences did not commence until the 3rd of December 2007. So this meeting cannot be considered to have been part of that process, and indeed the EIS had not even been completed at that stage. November 2007, all residents groups are written to, informing them that Dublin City Council are about to apply to An Bord Pleanála for planning permission to the submission of an EIS, as yet unseen by residents or local representatives, that a period of public consultation would take place. These letters also pointed out that full details of the project were to be on public display for a period of 8 weeks in Dublin City Council civic offices, in Marino Library and the DCC website. None of these areas are in the Clontarf area. And on the 3rd of December 2007, this submission and public consultation was further advertised in the Irish Independent, and this date was the commencement of the public consultation period. The 4th of December, 1 day later, Dublin City Council applied to An Bord Pleanála for permission for the works as outlined in the EIS, first advertised to the public 1 day previously, and in July 2008, planning permission granted by An Bord Pleanála. The following issues, Minister, apply. There is no evidence of any involvement of either public representatives, residents or local businesses prior to the decision being made in September 2005 that the preferred option for the works was bunds, walls, rather than the 4 other options under consideration. Although DCC have accepted the height recommendation changed after plans were first presented to local councillors in 2006, this change was not communicated, and no supplemental presentation was ever made detailing the alterations or the reasons given or held by DCC for departing from the original proposal. Prior to the planning application being made to An Bord Pleanála in December 2007, no public representatives or residents groups had sight of the completed EIS or had an opportunity to feedback or comment on it. The EIS was made available on the 3rd of December. The application was made to An Bord Pleanála on the 4th of December. As a result, the only opportunity these stakeholders had to input in the process was that afforded to them by An Bord Pleanála system at the cost of €50. Although the EIS was made available after the application was made to An Bord Pleanála, it was not ever available at any public location in Clontarf itself. And, Minister, I'd like to also bring your attention to something else. So my point being that the process was deficient from the beginning. The development is in close proximity of a number of special protection areas and a special area of conservation, which is North Dublin Bay. I'd like to direct you to Article 6.3 of the Habitats Directive and the guidance provided by the Commission, European Commission 2000, 2006, 2007. Any plan or project which may have a significant effect on an area of conservation shall be subject to an appropriate assessment of its implications for the site in view of the site's conservation objectives. This appropriate assessment should include, where appropriate, obtaining the opinion of the general public and must comply with the requirements as set forth by the Habitats Directive and clarified by the Commission's guidance notes and the ECJ cases C12702 and C41804. The environmental impact statement in relation to this project, prepared in relation to the above works, does not comply with the requirements of the directive and relevant explanatory documents, as no appropriate assessment was undertaken. In taking the decision under Onboard Panola reference 29NJA0008, the competent authority, which is Dublin City Council, has failed to take account of the appropriate assessment of the implications of the development for the designated Natura 2000 site in light of the site's conservation objectives, and the competent authority has not made certain that the development will not affect the integrity of the site. So 3 points, Minister, please. Firstly, will the Minister accept, as Dublin City Council have already accepted, that the consultation process was deficient, and will he accept the documentations which I provide for him for his officials to examine? Secondly, will his officials also examine the European legislation and the case I've just outlined to him as quickly as I possibly could within the 4 minutes allowed to me?
You're on for
thirdly,
5 minutes
also,
now. You're
Minister,
5.5 minutes.
Will you also, Minister, engage with the Insurance Federation to ensure that whether these works do or do not go ahead in the immediate future, that it has not have any negative impact for householders on the Clontarf promenade?